So I want to talk to you guys real quick. So people talk about in-game subwoofers, right? Like home theater, in-game, like what is your in-game subwoofer? Some people think like, maybe they want some PSA, subwoofers, SVS subwoofers. Maybe they see the new PB17s, the SB17s. Maybe they may look at JTR. They may look at the 4000 ULF. Maybe they want some Captivator 2400s. Maybe they want, it's a lot of different subwoofers that you can get, right? I've heard a lot of subwoofers, Burleson subwoofers, everything that you can imagine. I've been to a lot of trade shows, but one subwoofer a company that I have not heard was JTR, right? I always hear about JTR through different people on forums, and if you want to go with the best of the best, you go with JTR, and JTR this and JTR that. I seen Youth Man, he did he's got JTRs, right? And he talks about JTR and Jeff, and he's even went to where he manufactures JTRs, and he's done different videos of people having JTRs like in their homes, and so I kind of I want to hear him, but I would go to Audio Advice Live or Exponent and I wouldn't see any of them, right? Until this year, I went to Audio Advice Live and they had these, right? So these are not the RS1s. They're not the RS2s, obviously. They're not the Captivators, obviously. It's a new model of subwoofer that Jeff has, right? So he had this one in here, and then he had this loudspeaker in here. Let's see if we can go and see what this is. So it's a Kalos 465. It says designed for audiophiles at home and theater enthusiasts. The JTR Kalos 465 delivers breathtaking clarity, dynamic range, and deep immersion, all wrapped in a sleek, sophisticated design, right? He doesn't have much information on the website where I could see about the actual subwoofer, right? And maybe that's coming soon, or where he can kind of, highlight that, but I want to say I was very, very surprised at this JTR subwoofer and loudspeaker that I heard, right? As far as the loudspeaker that he had, or I don't even know if he wants to really call it a loudspeaker, the Kalos or whatever, the Kalos 465 premium home theater speaker. He's not calling it a loudspeaker, it's just home theater speaker. It's like for audiophiles. I was very taken back, right? As far as that speaker, the Kalos speaker, this speaker sound wise was really good. It was really good to me, right? It sounded almost like I don't know, it's like its own speaker. It wasn't too bright. It was kind of revealing. It was holographic. It had two of them obviously in there, right? It was holographic. It sounded pretty good, man. It sounds way better than not to dog out SVS, sounds way better than their tower speakers. And it sounds better than it's about on point, or at least I preferred it over the Burleson, because Burleson is very neutral sounding. I don't like neutral sounding. This one had its own tone to it, right? And I liked it. I thought it sounded really good. Maybe they think it sounds neutral. I don't know. I didn't really ask Jeff too much about this, but I don't know Jeff. I just went in there and he was the person that was in there showing off the system, and it sounded really, really good, right? Now the subwoofer that he had connected to it was this thing. Now, I think he said this was a 12 or 13. I think he said it was a 12-inch. I kind of want to say 13-inch, but I think because it looks smaller than my PB 4000, right? And that's like a 13.5-inch. So I think he said this was a 12-inch driver. When I tell you, he had two of these. These two subwoofers outperformed anything that I heard that day. When I talk about clear, the subwoofers had very good, it wasn't just the tactile feeling that you got from those smaller drivers, right? It was just the type of bass, right? You got mid bass, and a lot of times a lot of people have bloated bass. They don't even know that their subs can do mid bass because they don't have room correction software that can really control the bass more accurately. Most people just have like, you know, XT32 or maybe the Yapao or something like that. Like they don't really have any room correction that can really, like a Arc Genesis or Dirac Live. Some people do. You more advanced if you got that. But a lot of people don't know that their subs really can do mid bass, right? But there was so much mid and low end with the sub, and it was small. Like you can kind of hide the subwoofer, but the impact of it was very good. It was very clean sounding, you know, which, you know, I've heard Perlistons that people rave about, and it to me, it blew an 18-inch Perliston out of the water, in my opinion. You know what I mean? I've heard the SB17s, the sealed subwoofers that SVS has now, blew it out of the water, and it's smaller. You know, so I don't know. I didn't ask him how much amplification this thing had, but you know, and it's got a lot of excursion that it can do. But it wasn't even like really, I guess, cranked all the way up to where it was really having a lot of excursion when I was there. It was just, you know, it was like barely moving, but it was very, very impactful. You know, so that makes me really want to like look at his subwoofers, like, you know, because I hear about him, but I'm like, oh, I haven't heard, you know, what they really sound like, because, you know, he's got the RS2s, but they're like crazy expensive. They're like $5,300 for the RS2s, right? It's like $5,300 for the RS2s, and then the RS1 is $3,699 each, and then you got to pay for shipping. So you talking about close to $4,000 per subwoofer, right? But this is an 18-inch subwoofer. You know, both of these are 18 inch. This has got dual 18s in it, and this has got just an 18-inch in it. So I can only imagine, and you know, and the Captivator RS2's got a 4,000 watt amplifier, and the RS1 has a 2,400 watt amplifier. I don't know what he had in that that amplifier that with the subwoofer that I heard, but it, you know, whatever it was, it did its job. It really did. It really did its job. It did an amazing job. You know, so I really, that is really making me think about getting a JTR. You know, my dream subwoofer is the JTR 4000 ULF, but with the pricing, like this thing's like $5,600. You know, and it's too big for my space, because I'm thinking about buying another house and like just renting this house out, and then just maybe biting a bullet and getting two of them. But you know, it's fit. You know, that's, you know, it's almost $12,000 just for subs. You know, so I don't know if I want to do that, or I could just do 2 RS1s. You know, but that's still a lot, Jeff. That's a lot of money. I know he told me he's like 3 months out on some of these subwoofers, but I think he said the RS1s he had like in stock, I believe. But maybe if there's a sale on these, I would probably pull the trigger. And I'm not a sealed subwoofer lover. Like, I don't really care for them. But now, because he played that Jeezy Put On song. Like, I put on for my city, on. And it's got this low end, and it was all there. You know what I mean? And me and my girl was like, what? And I'm like, yeah, bro, like this. And they say these things could do. You know, JTRs, and it was like all of it was there. Like, I didn't feel like I missed any sound. You know, and it was fast because it's sealed. You know, so it makes me want to get the 18-inch versions. And these are $3,699. You know what I mean? But these, I'm not a fan of the aesthetics, how they look. You know what I mean? Of the the RS1s, like I don't, you know, I'm not a fan of the look of them. I'm not, but the sound of them is amazing, insane. You know what I mean? And even these, like, you can kind of hide these. Maybe he can do a different. Maybe he can color this. You know what I mean? Maybe, but this is like small. It's like real narrow. But the sound is insane for that cabinet. But I think he uses like Baltic birch with his cabinets to, because he's got to use something to really reinforce the inside of that, because it's violent. You know what I mean? But yeah, like as far as JTRs, I've heard a lot of subwoofers in my life, you know, and recently I've just been, you know, home theater kick, journey, going everywhere. If I know somebody's got a subwoofer, I try to stop by and listen. But these, you know, I don't know. I think JTR is kind of like, and I've heard brands that are supposedly, hold on, let me see if I can show you these. Let's see. What are, so Perlisons? Yeah, that's what they were. Perlisons. I heard those. I didn't really care for them. I didn't care. I just thought they were just okay. Clips, it's like the bottom of the barrel to me. Those are bottom of the barrel subwoofers. No disrespect if you have clips, it's just what it is. But those, they were just, you know, the rails are like not even close. You know what I'm saying? A lot of this stuff is not even close to those JTRs. Those JTRs are worth it. Even when I was in a turn-off room, they had, it starts with an A. These speakers that start with an A. They were like really good speakers. He had like subwoofers that are like 18-inch. It'll come to mind. Maybe I'll mention it in a different video. But they sound like pretty good, but they not like this. Like the JTRs are just insane. Like they're literally insane. It's like, it's clean. It's not ear fatiguing bass. It's clean, big, monstrous bass, you know, in a small cabinet, you know, and it's just like, I could just imagine watching a movie with those, bro. Like Godzilla versus Kong would be insane. And Jeff was just looking like he's seen my like expression. Cause like when he played that put on, I was just like, and he kind of just looked like, you know, he knew like, yo, I know what I'm doing, you know? So, and even the guy, like, it's probably a good thing I didn't tell you like the name of the speakers that was in the turn-off room, because like the guy was mad because he had like dual 18-inch subwoofers. Well, he had one dual 18-inch driver subwoofer outside of the turn-off room. And I was like, how do these compare to the JTRs? And he got real mad. And he was like, well, I don't just, hey, I make, everything is made, you know, for a specific, I don't just outsource, you know what I mean? Or have like drivers from different companies. He was like real mad that I even mentioned like JTR. He was trying to like crap on JTR. But I think he knew that the JTR, you know what I mean, outperforms like a lot of his stuff. You know what I mean? So, and it's a good thing I didn't mention his name, but yeah, man, Jeff knows what he's doing. Like when they say them JTRs are good, they are. So, and then it begs the question, like, are they worth the price? I don't know what he's charging for the ones I heard, but I mean, if those RS1s with the 18-inch drivers are better than those, which I'm pretty sure that he said that they're like double. He's like, they're going to be, Jeff told me they're going to be about double this. So if it's that, it might, JTR might be worth the price. It might be if it's double that, because that was insane, Jeff. That was insane. You know what I mean? So I really do like JTRs, and those may end up being my end game. So I told my girl, I'm like, yo, I might have to pull the trigger on these JTR. Like, I like my subwoofers, but that the only thing I'm worried about, because I heard, and this is not to say anything negative about Youth Man, shout to him, but he had somebody come to his house, right? And they were listening to his RS2s, and they said that there was rattling, right? I guess on his projector or whatever, like the mount or something. it was rattling, and then he said he had to do something he's got to figure out a way to reduce the rattling or whatever. I would be afraid to get 18-inch subs and for them to be that powerful in my room. And you talking about like if those things in my room can reach like 10 hertz, you know what I'm saying? Like them RS1s, because Youthman had RS2s, but if the RS1s can reach 10 hertz, and like we talking about some serious like rattling. If they could do 10 hertz at a high SPL, we're talking about some serious rattling. You know what I mean? And my SVS PP4000s, they when they hit like close to 10 hertz, things rattle. You know what I mean? I have to like reinforce things to try to minimize that. So that's the only thing I would be afraid of, is inducing more rattles, from the room. And then I have to figure out a way to suppress that, but it'd probably be worth it. You know what I mean? So I don't know, maybe one day on this channel, you may end up seeing me with some JTR subs. And they're smaller. I love the look of the SVS subs too. That's the thing that they got going for them. They're good. Like my subwoofers are good. Like you come on my house, you listen, they're very good. But the look, the aesthetic, I love the look of my SVS subwoofers. I'm worried if I go with JTR, the look of the JTR, could throw my room off a little bit. You know what I mean? But I don't know. We'll see. But I'm out, y'all. Y'all tell me what y'all think. If you heard JTR subwoofers, let me know what you think about them. You know what I mean? Are you thinking about getting them or not? Like I said, my dream subwoofer is the 4000 ULFs. If I had two of those, I'll be good. You know what I mean? But I think practicality wise, I may end up doing the dual RS1s if I do it. So we'll see. I'm out, y'all. Peace.